morning. You're watching Valley News, presented by the Cardinal Broadcasting Network. I'm Jennifer Hannigan, Public Information Officer here at Trinity Valley Community College. Welcome to the first November edition of Valley News. We're now on our 6th week of the weekly broadcast, and we'd like to thank everyone who has supported us in our early efforts to bring the news to you. Each week we're getting a little bit better. As always, if you have suggestions on how we can improve the broadcast, be sure to let us know. As usual, I wanted to take a moment and let everyone know what's going on in student activities this coming week. On Monday, November 5th, the college is hosting skate night at Good Times Skating Rink in Athens. That will be from 6 to 9 p.m. The best part is it doesn't cost anything for you to skate, so if you're looking for something to do on Monday night, the skating rink is located just off Farm to Market Road 2495 on the east side of Athens. Basically, you take the road that is across from Walmart, drive out about a mile until you see the sign on the left. If skating's not your thing, check out the Ultimate Frisbee match that's going on at 4 p.m. Wednesday, November 7th in the pit. For more information on that event or anything else that's going on with student activities, stop by the office on the bottom floor of the sub and ask Courtney Curran to let you know about the latest events. In other news, the semester is on the downhill slide. Can you believe that? Seems like it was just August and we were getting started. But believe it or not, it's time to start wrapping things up and get ready for spring. In honor of that, we're going to cover a few things today that will help you get ready to wrap up the semester and start the next one. I know it seems a little early, it's just November, but now really is the time to start getting ready for classes next January. Next week, on November 12th, internet registration is starting for spring. So visit the website at tvcc.edu for the links to register and the copy of the spring calendar. Classes fill up really fast, guys, so the sooner you register, the better your chances of getting what you need in a time that fits with your schedule. Also coming up next week is another important date I wanted to let you know about, November 16th. If you need to drop a class, now is the time to do it, because after next Friday, you will not be able to drop and receive a W for this semester. Also, while you're thinking about the end of the semester, please make sure you go online and evaluate your professors. You probably already heard your instructors encourage you to go into the Cardinal Connection and complete your evaluations for each class that you've taken. I know we're all busy and the process takes a little bit of time, but if you do complete an evaluation, you get a chance to win one of 4 $100 gift cards, and that entry happens for each evaluation you complete. The last day to do evaluations is November 30th, so that's coming up fairly quickly. Please take the time to go to tvcc.edu and log into Cardinal Connection. In following with our preparedness for next semester theme, I want to introduce today's guest, Miss Hannah Ricks. Miss Ricks is the Pell Grant Specialist in the Financial Aid Office. And so we're going to talk today about some of the things that you can do to take care of your financial aid for this semester. And Ms. Ricks is going to let us know how to navigate the ropes a little bit in the financial aid office. If you haven't seen Ms. Ricks before, it's really no surprise. She's a new member to the staff here at Trinity Valley. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been with the office?
Well, I recently just started in August, and I graduated from TVCC in 2010. So I am, a previous student, and I was a work study in the financial aid office. So.
Probably nice to be back with your old coworkers again.
Yeah, it's nice.
Let's start with the basics, please. Can you briefly sort of tell us about the different financial aid we have available? I know some students may know or believe that they're not eligible for a Pell Grant, but there isn't really a need to go through financial aid, but I know there are lots of other opportunities for financial aid available. Can you tell us about some of them?
Well, what students need to do is they need to always go to the FAFSA website, which is www.fafsa.gov, and fill out the FAFSA. Every student needs to do this, whether they know they're eligible for Pell Grants, or if they're just getting a loan, or if they just want to do work study. That's going to be the first step that every student needs to do for any financial aid whatsoever.
Got it. What are some of the other kinds of financial aid that's available if you're not Pell eligible?
If they're not Pell eligible, then what they can do is they can take out a student loan, or they're eligible for scholarships. What they can do is apply for the TVCC scholarship, or if they're fresh out of high school, sometimes their high school will provide the students with a scholarship to go to whatever college they want to. And also what's available is student employment, which is the work-study program where students can work up to 19 hours a week and receive minimum wage just like a paycheck that they would at any other job.
So even if you don't get Pell, there's still a good possibility that you can be eligible for some sort of financial aid.
Yes, most definitely.
Got it. Okay, if you're a new student coming in and would like to attend class next spring, can you give us an idea of where they should be in the process now if you haven't started with financial aid, and how they can sort of catch up to where they should be if they plan on attending in January?
Well, what every student needs to do is, first of all, fill out the FAFSA at fafsa.gov. For the spring semester, our upcoming deadline is November 1st, and that is the guaranteed deadline for if they want everything guaranteed ready for registration for spring. They need to have every possible piece of documentation turned in by November 1st. If they don't get it turned in by that date, that's fine. It will still be processed, but it's just not guaranteed to be ready for registration.
So there's a chance that they may have to cover their tuition costs, and then when the Pell comes in, it can catch up.
Yeah, they might have to pay out of pocket and then just be reimbursed if they do qualify.
Got it. That makes sense. Let's move on to current students who have already come in and already part of the system. Where should they be in the process, and what are the steps that a student that's currently getting financial aid needs to take in order to be ready for spring?
Well, if any student is currently taking classes and they're currently enrolled, what they need to do is check with the financial aid office before they leave for Christmas break to make sure that their financial aid is set up for spring. That way, if there's any issue or if they have a question, they can go ahead and get that answered and fixed before the spring semester starts. And most students who are currently enrolled, they are already processed for spring. So if they want to double check, they can drop by the financial aid office and ask.
Do you have amounts available and that sort of thing already to let people know?
Yes.
Okay. I know one of the things you really have to give yourself when you're dealing with financial aid is time. About how long would you say it takes the average person to get through from filling the FAFSA to the point that they're cleared and they're ready to receive financial aid?
Okay, it would generally take about 2 weeks, and that is provided that the student is turning in documents when they're supposed to, when they're asked for them, and just trying to be on top of things.
What sort of additional, in addition to the FAFSA, which you do online, after that's filled out, what are the types of documentation that a student needs to turn in?
Well, once a student does the FAFSA, what they need to do is turn in the financial aid information sheet, which is required by every student, and it's just general demographic information just to make sure that we know how many hours the student is enrolled in, if they're living on campus, off campus, just that kind of thing. Another thing is sometimes students are randomly flagged for verification to verify that what they put on their FAFSA is what they put on their taxes. And so sometimes we require something from the IRS, and there's other additional forms, but not every student is required to do that. So that's why it's always good to check with the financial aid office.
It sounds like in that case, again, giving yourself more time is better than trying to do things at the last minute. I actually remember being flagged for verification before, and it's not difficult, but it does take some additional documentation that it may take some time to find. So they should probably check with you now and just make sure that that they are free and clear and ready to go for January, correct?
Yes, it's always better to get everything done ahead of time, even several months before the semester starts. If you are late in getting your stuff in, it's fine, but just the sooner you do it, the better.
What are just some general suggestions you might make for simplifying the process? I know you guys deal with a massive number of students a lot of the times in a very short period of time as the semester begins, and the process can be a little stressful both for you guys and for the students that are coming in. What are some things that you think can be done just to make it easier for the student to go through the financial aid system?
Well, the two main things is the student needs to make sure that they check with the financial aid office as soon as they fill out their FAFSA and as soon as they turn all their paperwork in, to make sure that nothing else is required and to make sure that they have met all the requirements. Another thing is the student needs to make sure that they meet all the deadlines. If they get their stuff turned in late, then their financial aid could possibly also be late. So they just need to make sure they meet deadlines and double check with the financial aid office.
It sounds like the solution really is to give yourself time.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Ricks, for joining us today. We were glad to have you.
You're welcome.
That's all for this week's edition of Valley News. As always, if you would like to see a guest or a topic covered here on the show, Let us know on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Trinity Valley Community College or on Twitter at TVCC News. Thank you for joining us for another week of Valley News. I'm Jennifer Hannigan. Have a great day, everyone.